Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the PCBL Limited conference call. Present on the call would be Dr. Sanjeev Goenka, Chairman, Mr. Kaushik Roy, Managing Director, Mr. Raj Gupta, CFO, Mr. Saket Shah, Head Investor Relations, Mr. Pankaj Kedia, Vice President, Investor Relations. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then zero on a touch-tone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Dr. Sanjeev Goenka, Chairman, PCBL Limited. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, and good afternoon, and welcome, and thank you so much for joining us at short notice. It's always a pleasure to meet all of you, and many of you have been very strong supporters of the group and of late of PCBL, and I thought it's only fair that I share with you some important developments at PCBL. The last time I had interacted with you all, I had shared with you the very strong growth track that we have for PCBL and the carbon black business, the addition of specialty chemicals and specialty blacks. So that was a shift from commodity blacks to specialty blacks. Growth in volume, and the target remains over the next few years to get to 1 million tons. The growth in volumes, growth in and change in product mix to shift to specialty carbon blacks and value-added products for specialty use with higher margins, and to shift platforms. And this is something that I've been talking about for the last several months. We have to shift platforms from carbon black. And it is with that in mind that I thought I must share with you a very exciting development today. We signed a share purchase agreement with a company called Aquapharm, which is based out of Pune, which is largely involved in chemicals, in phosphonates, in oil and gas chemicals, in polymers, and gives us access to a different platform where we can shift from the carbon molecule to phosphorus molecule to the amino acid molecules. So this is a very significant step in our company's journey towards getting away from pure commodity carbon black to specialty chemicals. Aquapharm is a company which has revenues of 2,045 crores, and this year will have an EBITDA of projected EBITDA of 370 crores, slightly lower than last year's EBITDA. The gross margins are at about 31%. The EBITDA margins are 20%. The principal plant is in America with two other plants in Saudi Arabia and India. Phosphonates are used in soaps, detergents, water treatment, desalination. And the main customer base for Aquapharm is Procter & Gamble, Unilever, Henkel, Reckitt. It is a world leader. It's number 2 in the world and is in the area of specialty chemicals. Phosphonates is 53% of the portfolio. Oil and gas chemicals is 25%, and polymers, the rest. We are paying or we have agreed to pay a sum of 3,800 crores, which amounts to 9.1 times current EBITDA levels and 8.5 times 25 EBITDA levels. Between PCBL and Aquapharm, over the next 30 months, the cash flows would be adequate to take care of this entire acquisition cost. Let me also remind you that PCBL sits on a certain amount of about 450 crores of liquid cash at this point in time, and neither Aquapharm. Aquapharm has no borrowings whatsoever. It's debt-free, and PCBL has only working capital borrowings. The exciting thing about this is that it accelerates our growth. It helps in future-proofing our portfolio. It's in products which are sustainable, so aid sustainability and decarbonization. Green chellets is something that's very, very exciting, extremely exciting. It's biodegradable, it's sustainable, it's green. So green chellets are biodegradable chelleting agents which improve detergency. The global market for this product is 130,000 tons as it stands. Aquapharm today is at 3,300 tons. The growth rates are interesting. The headroom for growth is enormous. And the plan is to increase it to 20 times over the next 5 years. 20 times for the current production of 3,300 tons. Water-soluble polymers is something that also offers a very exciting opportunity. 35% contributions. The global market is 4 lakh tons. Aquapharm's capacity is currently 4,000 tons. So again, significant headroom for growth. Global leaders who are customers, plants which are diversified, a global supply chain, and in chemicals which are high in value, high in contribution, high on growth rates. So you have commodity blacks which are stable. Then you have specialty blacks which are very high in terms of contribution and high in terms of growth. And you have expansion there. And now you have another platform, which is the phosphorus molecule and the amino acids molecule platform. And this affords for even stronger growth. So it's a huge opportunity. It's both margins accretive and earnings accretive. So I think overall this is a unique opportunity for us. We decided to sign the share purchase agreement, and I thought I must take you into confidence. So immediately after the board met and approved the transaction, I'm having this call with you. These are the broad outlines of the transaction, which, as I said, to my mind is extremely bullish for the company, puts us in a different area, but with synergies on the supply chain, synergies on manufacturing processes, operational synergies, and we do believe we can add value to Aquapharm from where it is. And so combined, to repeat, it will be both margins and earnings accretive. So that in a nutshell is what I wanted to share with you. I'm now opening to answering questions that you might have. I'm there. The PCBL team is there. My investor relations team is there. And we will all together try and answer as many questions as you might have. So over to you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and two. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Our first question is from the line of Rohan Gupta from Nuvama. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon, and congratulations on such a big move in the company. Sir, many questions, but I will restrict myself to two, three. Sir, first is that we are in a specialty black business, while we have been consciously focusing more towards specialty chemicals. But this move that is a completely in an unrelated chemical chemistry and product basket, also catering to different set of industries. What value addition PCBL can bring in here, also in terms of the end user industry and the business profile. The company is quite, the product category is also quite different, catering to detergents and other industrial chemical cleaner materials. So how do we see that the synergy will be achieved from our current business, and how do you see that the focus of the group is going to change over a period of next 2 to 3 years? That is one.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Rohan. Very simple. First, this company is number 2 in the world in the areas in which it operates. So it's a global leader. It has critical mass. It is supplying to P&G, Unilever, Henkel, Reckitt, so all global leaders in their own right. So it has a very good management, has a very good team, which is functional, successful, operational, where we can bring immediate contribution is in the manufacturing process, which is very robust, but we do believe we can improve it. We do believe we can help in the procurement and the supply chain, where we do believe there is some potential. But overall, it is our first step into getting into specialty chemicals and, as I said, future-proofing the portfolio of PCBL. So instead of being commodity blacks, we got into specialty blacks. Now from remaining in blacks, growing there, not getting into chemicals.
So secondly, you mentioned that the payment up to over next 20 months of the entire sum of the money. If you can just share more light on that, how much you have plans to fund it through debt, and what is the payment terms, how it will be paid over a period of time?
Well, initially we will take debt, but let me just say that combined on a conservative basis over the next 30 months, we expect the two companies to have EBITDA of 4,000 crores plus. The acquisition cost is 3,800 crores. Both the companies are debt-free. So over the next 30 months, we anyway expect the debt to be completely paid. But I do believe that we would actually be repaying before that. I am personally very debt averse. I've said that time and time again. I'm uncomfortable when we have debt. I frankly don't get sleep if we have debt. So most of our companies, you will see, are long-term debt-free. And that is the way ECBL has been, that is the way it will be. So there's a short-term debt that we will have, but hopefully, well before 30 months, we should be debt-free. And we have 450 crores liquid cash lying with us at this point in time.
So this 3,800 crore, you said that will be paid over a period of 20 months? What is the payment term?
No. 3,800. So we've signed the share purchase agreement now. Over the next 3 months, we expect the transaction to get closed when we pay the 3,800 crores, and which will be funded by a borrowing at this point in time and the cash that we have as it stands with ECBL. And over the next 30 months, we will repay the entire borrowing, and maybe we will repay it even before.
So with such a strong margins and as you mentioned that the number two position in a global business, the reason for sale of this business would have been?
Well, what we were told is that the current promoters, it was a joint venture between two families. The family had many branches, and as it sometimes happens in families which become large, they want to cash out. So, and I can tell you that there were three people bidding, and we did not overbid. Our bid was the same as our next competitor's bid. But the Aquapharm ownership preferred to deal with us because they were more sure of our credibility and our reputation than our nearest competitor.
So just last bit and I'll
Both the
come back
bids were
into.
exactly the same amount.
Okay. Just last bit and I'll come back in. So you mentioned statement which I couldn't get that the current capacity is roughly 3,300 tons and you have plans to increase it by 20 times over next 5 years. I couldn't get that
So
number.
that is in green shellets, so not phosphonates. That is in green shellets. So green shellets is a future product which is biodegradable. It's a biodegradable shelleting agent which improves detergency. The global market for that, as it stands, is 130,000 tons. Aquapharm capacity is 3,300 tons. We do believe that we have this. I'm saying we, but it's not yet we, but the Aquapharm has the ability to expand this to 65 to 70,000 tons. The market would then grow much more. And with that growth and Aquapharm's credibility with the customers, we should be able to get that market share. So that provides a huge growth. But when I'm talking of the cash flows for the next 30 months, that growth is not factored in. So we are being conservative in our forecast at this point in time. We are not factoring in growth from additional capacity expansion. We are factoring in contributions from things as they stand.
Okay. So just one small clarification on financial front. You mentioned that roughly 370 crore is EBITDA on a 2,045 crore rupees revenue. So you can just give us what is the PBT and PAT number and what is the cash profit from this Aquapharm right now?
So last year, March 23, the PAT was 280 crores, and this year is still underway.
And so out of 280 crore,
Projected, yeah.
what would have been the cash profit? What was the tax was paid? The reason I'm trying to understand that the 3,800 crore rupees debt at the average debt cost of at least 9.5 to 10%, whether this will be EPS accretive for our numbers or not.
Yes, it would be. Those workings we will share with you very, very clearly. And we will send that data across to you, but it will be. And this is a bad year for the industry. Next year should be a better year. So hopefully cash flow should actually be higher than 370. In fact, the forecast is for higher, and 26 is even higher.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations once again, and I'll come back to you for any follow-up questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Krishan Parwani from JM Financial. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you for the opportunity, and firstly, congratulations on the acquisition. Just one question from my side. Since I think you mentioned that the promoters want to cash out, so just wanted to understand who would be running the show once we complete this acquisition in the next 2-3 months. Would the current promoters render any know-hows for some time, or would we be running the show from day one?
Well, the current promoters would be involved for a couple of years, at least the operating promoters. But it's not just one individual who runs the company, it's a whole team. The whole team exists, and that team will be there, and the connections will be there. And I'm not at all concerned about the change in ownership. I do believe that the change in ownership can actually help in terms of some value addition in terms of manufacturing process, some value additions in terms of supply chain, and hopefully RPSG might bring some other practices which might improve. So I think as a family and as a group, the one thing we've done very well is we've managed acquisitions very well. So I think this is something that is our core competence. It's something that we've done well over generations, frankly. And certainly we've done well with our last few acquisitions, not least Perforce. So we're looking forward to it. And we do believe this provides an area of huge opportunity for PCBL and its entire family of stakeholders and shareholders.
Yes, sir, no doubt about it. Thank you for patiently answering my questions, and all the best, and congrats once again. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, a reminder to all participants, you may press star and one to ask a question. Our next question is from the line of Aditya Khetan from SMIFS Institutional. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. Sir, as you mentioned to an earlier participant, that the reason for selling that because that families are becoming much larger. Sir, but I believe this Aquapharm was looking to sell this stake since April 2023. Sir, is there any other specific reason why this Mangwani family, which is the promoter of Aquapharm, want to divest at a time when the Indian chemical sector is diversifying in terms of value chains and growth opportunities? Any other reason which you can highlight apart from these families and all?
They've been looking at selling. Of course, any transaction takes time, and they ran a process. So you're right about your time on April. And it's taken 7-8 months to come to a conclusion. And we had 3 competitors. And they had a very strong process. And the reason ascribed to us was that they really want to cash out, and it's quite normal. I mean, it actually affords a huge opportunity because the Indian chemical sector is poised for very big growth, as indeed the global chemical sector. And you will have consolidation. We are seeing this across industry, across portfolios, and I think we are fortunate that we have bagged this one. We do believe it's a phenomenal company and has huge growth potential. So we do believe they've done a good job. It's not that they've not done a good job, but we do believe we can do better with it.
Okay. So somewhere what I've read is that this company is having a cumulative capacity of 70,000 tons. And so you're mentioning some 3,300 tons.
So is it different products? There are different products. So phosphonates is where they have 70,000 tons. Green Chellis is something which they've just started. It's very new. It's a very new product in the whole world. So this is very green. And as I said, we are, and I said this earlier, from commodity blacks to specialty blacks, from specialty blacks to chemicals, and the next phase is going to be chemicals which go into electric vehicles. We are close to it, hopefully soon. So it's a portfolio shift for PCBL, and you will see the profile of the company changing to value-added products more and more and getting away from commodities, getting more into green, sustainable, biodegradable kind of products. And this is what you will see more as PCBL progresses.
Got it. Sir, just one more question. Sir, this Aquapharm is totally an unrelated acquisition. So the current board, you said that at least for the initial years, so the current board would run the company. So sir, how competitive would it be for the management, and how we can handle all the challenges related to this? Because since this is a newer business and we might not have that handle, so handling the water treatment and all these phosphonates. So, is this a good decision by the management? So for running in initial years, or we should be looking out for an expert from outsider who can run this company?
So firstly, there's a very strong management. So it's not only the promoters, but it's also a team underneath the promoters who run the company, right? It's not one individual, but it's several people who run the company. So the promoters cash out, the management team, the operating team remain. One. Two, there is enough talent available in the market who are specialists in this. So you need technologists who are specialists, which we have. Management skills are the same whether you apply to product A or product B. The general management skills are the same. It doesn't take that long to learn and acquire knowledge about customers, global supply chains, manufacturing processes. Principally, they remain the same, and there is talent available. Yes, we have identified some talent, and no, we are not concerned about the management at all. We are actually very excited, and we do believe that we will add value and the company will grow more than it has grown in the past.
Got it. Sir, in FY23, we had seen a dip in EBITDA of Aquapharm, from around 420 crore, the EBITDA dipped to around 380 crore, as you had mentioned in your earlier remarks.
Yes.
So sir, this dip is largely because this company is into export market, into Europe and Saudi, so wherein the markets are weak. That is one reason which could be attributed for this decline?
I think, since I was not specifically, or RPSG was not specifically running the company, so we cannot precisely tell you why the dip has happened. But yes, the dip happened. But we do believe the dip or that aberration pertains to 2 quarters only. And from quarter 4 of this year, which is January-March quarter, the performance will get back to where it was and more. So that is our belief and expectation. And I think I'm told that we are already seeing the October month being better, and November, December should be even better.
Got it, sir. Sir, just one last question, sir. If you can highlight more onto the onto the CapEx side, what Aquapharm would be doing, how much is the revenue potential on top of 2,200 crore, and what sort of numbers are growth or something, sir, which you can highlight to us for the next 2-3 years, as we are having no idea on how much CapEx, how much numbers would the company can do over the next 2 to 3 years.
Well, very simply put, chemicals don't invest high capex. Okay, that's very, very clear. There are production facilities or manufacturing facilities which can be scaled up. But the big expansions will come in green chelates, which is a very high contribution item. Again, biodegradable, sustainable, and water-soluble polymers, which has 35% contribution. Now, we are a few minutes into the company. So we need a little bit of time to specifically go through the plans. We have seen the plans that exist as is. But we do believe there might be some changes and we may be more aggressive with the growth plans. So give us a few weeks. Let us conclude the transaction and we will come back to you with very specific plans. I mean, we have some thoughts, but we would on growth, which are, as I said, aggressive. But just give us a few weeks. I mean, it's literally been less than an hour since we should sign the share purchase agreement, and we haven't taken control of the company yet. So it's a little early, but yes, it's exciting growth, it's strong growth, and these products are not high on CapEx at all.
Got it, sir. No worries. There's one last question, sir. If you can highlight the H1 revenue, EBITDA, and PAT half yearly, sir, H1.
Raj, you're on the call. Would you like to share this number?
Hello. Hello.
Yes, Raj. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hello. So there was some voice disturbance. So,
So Raj, what the question was, what was Aquapharm's half one financial numbers? Would you just like to share that with all the people on the call, please?
yeah, the first half was around 1,000 odd crores revenue number.
And bottom line?
Bottom line would be roughly around 160, 70 crores.
EBITDA, sir?
EBITDA would be roughly around, so this 160 crore I'm talking about is PBT number. And EBITDA would be around 190 odd crores roughly.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Sanjeev Mota from BNK. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Sanjeev.
Hi, Sanjeev.
Congratulations. Congratulations on the acquisition.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, just a couple of things. One, who were you competing with in this acquisition? Like, were there other large players or?
One was very large. I don't know whether we are at liberty to talk about who were our
Sure.
competitors.
That's fine. I'm just trying to understand the
Very
type of
large,
players. Yeah.
And one was a company which has done a couple of chemical acquisitions. They run a strong chemical portfolio. I don't know whether they'd be target for takeover at some stage.
Right. Hmm. And like, what was the reason we won the deal?
I think at one stage it looked that we were out of the transaction, and then it came back on the table. We were very clear that we are not going above this value, and we had strong conditions and conditions precedent to closure. And the price was, I'm told, exactly the same.
Right.
There was no difference in the price. But I think maybe there were doubts on the other party's ability to control. I don't know. Not for me to comment.
Right.
But when the deal came back on the table, we were keen on the transaction because we are convinced about the prospects of this company.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And as we are about something else that we are pursuing in the electric vehicle space,
Right.
hopefully soon. Hopefully soon.
Right. So, yeah, that was actually led to my next question, which was you're talking about, you are alluding to another potential acquisition. So if I look at the capital structure of the company, of course, this is a debt-free company, so that helps in terms of debt-taking capacity. So, like, how are you looking at it, post, let's say, what you would want PCBL to be, let's say, once all the acquisitions are done?
I don't know about all, but I can tell you about the immediate thing. As I said, PCBL commodity blacks is one part. Specialty blacks is the second part, where we are going to grow between these two to about 1 million tons, which is the current portfolio, and which is very strong in growth, very strong in margins now with specialty. The second is specialty chemicals, and the third is chemicals which go into electrical vehicles. So those will be the three pillars for the moment. All three which are very high on growth, high on margin, and 2.5 out of them are certainly very compliant or very futuristic in terms of being green, being sustainable, being, leading towards decarbonization and biodegradable.
Right. But in terms of, capital structure, would you then have to raise some equity, you think? Or from a capitalization, how are we placed, you think?
Sanjeev, those are calls which we haven't yet taken, and we will refer to advisors very soon. But for the moment, we will take a debt.
Right.
And we will see, equity is always an option that's available. And it is something that we could well do, but those are calls we haven't taken finally yet. All I'm saying is, now, if there is equity, of course, then the debt becomes that much less, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure.
If there is no equity over the next 30 months, the combined entity's cash flows can take care of the entire debt.
Right.
That's the limited point I was trying to make.
No, I understand from this acquisition, but if you're talking about one more, I'm just trying to understand how are you looking at that?
Well, that's something which we will acquire. I can't say very much at this stage, but hopefully very soon, hopefully very, very soon, we should be back to you with something that's extremely, extremely exciting. And that is in the electric vehicle space, that I can tell you. And as we speak, a team is negotiating the final terms of the agreement.
Sure.
So the principles, I think, are broadly agreed, but the specific clauses the lawyers are discussing at this point in time. I don't know how long that will take, but shouldn't be too long.
Sure, Sanjeev. Thanks. All the best for that acquisition as well. And I think
Thank you, Sanjeev.
It's a very, very exciting company, I guess. Yeah.
Yes, somebody told me it's going to become the flagship of the group, and I said I hope I have more than one flagship, so-called flagship. PCBL is certainly going to be one of the strongest growth entities for the group. I mean, all companies in the group are growing and growing very fast. But PCBL is certainly growing faster. And it's quite exciting.
Great. Thanks a lot, Sanjeev.
Thank you, Sanjeev.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Nitin Agarwal from DAM Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks for taking my questions. Congratulations on the transaction. Two, three housekeeping questions. One is, that's the transaction amount. I mean, what extent of working capital included in the transaction cost?
So the current working capital is included.
Can you give me a rough sense of how much will that be on a net working capital?
I mean, it's an ongoing company. So you're acquiring an ongoing company. So the working capital is totally there. I mean, your debtors, your creditors, everything is already there. You acquire it as is right in. And you pay this money to the promoters, existing promoters.
I get that. Once I guess, if you can give a sense of the quantum of the working capital in the business right now?
It's about
20-30.
It's about 450 crores, right?
Yes, sir.
Raj?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is 450 crores.
It's 450 crores, yeah.
Yes.
Secondly, in terms of, when you think about the IRR on the transaction, or I mean, how are you looking at the payback? In how many years do you think you recover the cost of the transaction?
So there are different ways of doing it. One is from current levels. The other is how you improve profits, how you improve capacities, how you improve capacity utilization, how you add on capacities, and how does the market view it? So chemical companies, once listed, I would believe that the multiples should be much higher than 9, and that in itself is there is headroom there. But profitability-wise, I do see strong growth. But as I said earlier, that we've literally been less than an hour into the acquisition, and so payback should be soon, but specifics, when we formally take over the company, I would be in a position to share much more detail with you, because it would have given us a couple of months of insight into the company. So far, all our insights are based on the diligence that we've done. But then one would see it as with the perspective of an insider, and one could be in a much better position to talk about growth and far more confident. So what we're sharing with you is what the existing plans were. But we do believe from the outside out in that it can be much more aggressive. And chemical capexes are not high. So it's something that we would be much more specific. I'm sorry, I am not in a position to give you more details at this stage. All I can say is it appears that we can grow faster than the previous management forecasted, but we would need a couple of months before we can specifically tell you precise numbers, which product, how much will phosphonates grow by, how much will green chelates grow by, how much will water-soluble polymers grow by. I mean, we are telling you what we have been told and what the management believes. But we have had McKinsey to validate these numbers for us, but we would need to get in ourselves and validate them.
That's absolutely understandable. Secondly, since you mentioned the green chelates a few times, what proportion of our current business is green chelates business?
Green chelates is small at this point in time. So let me just take you through the portfolio mix. Phosphonates is 53%. The chemicals which go into the oil and gas industry is 25%. And the polymers constitutes the rest. So amongst the polymers is green chelates and the water-soluble polymers. So you're looking at the whole thing of the amino acid chemistry and that whole polymer platform, which is very small for the company at this point in time because they're very new products.
Right.
And these products become more and more and more relevant when the world is moving towards a greener future. And therefore, the prospects for these products are much more exciting today than they were 2 years ago.
Right. Right. And the last one, while you've given the 3-year financials, if you just probably can go back a little bit more and just give us maybe the 5-year CAGR revenue growth and EBITDA growth for this business, historical growth.
That I'm going to ask the CFO of PCBL, Raj Gupta, to share with you. Raj?
It has grown by about 15-16% CAGR, and that's what the trajectory for future also is for next 4-5 years.
Let me just come in. No. 15-16% is what the existing management forecasts.
Yeah.
That is not the trajectory I am forecasting.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, perfect. And, while there's been obviously, as you rightly said, it's only been an hour since you acquired the business, but apart from the interventions that you can undertake to accelerate the growth of the business, are there any primary synergies between what PCBL does right now and this business, or are they absolutely complementary businesses?
Well, they are complementary largely, but there are synergies in, as I said, the whole global supply chain procurement. In manufacturing processes, we do chemical process manufacture very well, and we have to now get into the plants. So, yes, we had teams out in America and Saudi Arabia, and we do believe our teams have come back to say that they do believe certain value addition can be made, but now we have to get into that much more. And in a few weeks, we should be in much better position to share those details with you.
Thank you, and best luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Abhijit Bora from Sharekhan. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Congratulations for the acquisition.
And
Thank you.
my question is that, are we going to keep this company separate and list later on, like what, or we merge with the existing business? What are our plans? Because it is, you said that it is at around 8-9 times EBITDA valuation, so there can be a value unlocking opportunity going forward.
Clearly, there is a value unlocking opportunity, and as I said early on in the conversation, we are speaking to specialists who are examining the exact structure, but it will be part of PCBL, whether it's a 100% subsidiary which will go public or it is a division, I think, and PCBL goes to the equity markets. Those are calls that yet have to be taken. But it will be part of the PCBL thing. It will be in a manner that whichever way it gets consolidated into the balance sheet and the earnings do as well.
Okay. And secondly, when you say that it will be earnings accretive, you mean to say it will be earnings accretive from the first year of acquisition, or like post the when the debt is being repaid? Because what my understanding is that 380 crore of EBITDA and it's being entirely funded through debt. 9 to 10% of the interest would mean that EBITDA will be taken, the interest will EBITDA will be absorbed by the interest itself.
So that is for this year. That is for this year.
Yeah.
But look at next year. The forecasts are much higher, and the year after, they're even higher. So for the first full year that we have Aquapharm, we do believe that we will be bottom line and margin accretive. But again, more details when we take over the company. And it's something that, sorry to keep repeating it, but the excitement and confidence is huge. And I'm not one who makes commitments that I can't honor. My policy has always been to undercommit and overdeliver. So I don't want to say anything more at this stage because our knowledge about the company is very limited. It's limited to the diligence we've done. It's limited to the exercise that McKinsey did for us, and some of the consultants we used did for us. So we've got top-level advice, very, very strong advice from the chemical space. And off the record, I can also tell you that a part of the family, not direct family, but a part of the family is very strongly involved with the chemical business. And we've been consulting with them also. So,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I can't say more. I'm sure you understand what I'm referring to.
Yes. Yeah,
So,
understood.
go ahead. They've been very successful in what they've done, and they understand the chemical space extremely well. And they've also been extremely excited about this opportunity.
Okay. Just to clarify it, if I've understood correctly, that we expect in the very first year of the acquisition to be
First full year of acquisition to be, yes. First full year of acquisition, yes. That is a commitment. Absolutely.
Okay. That is very helpful. Thank you. And once again, congrats for the acquisition.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Dhruv Bhatia from Bank of India Investment Managers. Please go ahead.
Hi, good evening, sir, and congratulations for the acquisition. So my first question is...
Sorry to interrupt, sir. May we request you to use your handset, sir? Your audio is not clear, sir.
Yeah. I'm audible now?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So my first question is, you mentioned in your opening remarks that on a combined entity in 30 months, you were expecting an EBITDA of 4,000 crores. Right, and when I look at your base PCBL business and the capacity expansion that's going on, and with the EBITDA you mentioned of Aquapharm, it seems like there is either way underutilized capacities in Aquapharm, or probably you need to do incremental capex to achieve this 4,000 number. So could you please clarify this?
No. What I've told you is based on where we are. Okay. And earlier, not in today's call, but earlier I talked about the whole PCBL plan of unlocking capacities. And as of now, the PCBL cash flows don't take into account the Tamil Nadu contribution. So far, it's been 6 months since the plant has started, and last month we got to about 50% capacity utilization, which gets us to a break even. Now, let's just look at the whole arithmetic very simplistically. 150,000 tons, 20,000 rupees per ton, 300 crores contribution. Simple. Then I had talked about oxidized carbon black, which will give us an additional contribution of 62 crores per annum. Then our new specialty plant at Mundra will get commissioned in March. It's virtually done, but it's the finishing stages of that plant, or within March, let me put it that way. That again should give us significant additional contribution. And I'm not talking about anything else that we do. So this year, our EBITDA in PCBL should be, as it stands, 980 crores. Just add these numbers to that. Okay, that takes you to whatever it does. And I'm not talking of any further expansion. If that happens, which is going to happen, then it's more. As for farm capacities as they exist, the forecasts are 380, 435, 25. Whatever expansions happen will be over and above these. Whatever value additions happen will be over and above this. So when I'm talking of 4,000 crores EBITDA for 24, 25, 26, combined, it is on what we have. Whatever additional happens will be over and above, and that will happen.
Okay. So, I mean, just again, just a clarification here with what you just mentioned with, the numbers of Aquapharm maybe 2 years down and of PCBL, that comes up to roughly about 1,800, 2,000 crores. And over and above that, is that implying that this includes some acquisitions at 4,000 crores of EBITDA? Does it include...
No. This is as is.
As is.
As I said, the chemicals for the electrical vehicles, which we are very hopeful of it touring, that will add to it. Okay. We can just do marginal capex at Tamil Nadu and increase the capacity by 90,000 tons. That will add to it.
Okay.
Any expansions at Aquapharm will add to it. Sorry?
There just seems to be a very big gap between the 2,000 crores EBITDA and the 4,000 crores. So I'm just, trying to add. I mean, even if you add...
No. Where is the gap? Where is the gap?
So you mentioned 1,200 to 1,300 crores PCBL and whatever over and above you can...
Per year.
Okay.
Simple. I'm giving you a number specific. 1,360 for 24 combined as is, 1,530, 25, 1,750, 26.
Okay. Okay, so combined of 3 years will be 4,000 crores of EBITDA.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Got it.
As is.
Okay.
And the actual will be much higher than that. So I'm giving you, assuming there is no equity raising over the next 12 months and assuming that there's debt, the cash flows of the combined entity is still enough to pay the entire debt within 30 months. But that may not be the scenario. The scenario might be a mix of equity and cash.
Sure. So the second question is, because this acquisition value is about 3,800 crores, my assumption would be that there would be a fairly decent amount of goodwill accretion. So could you quantify what type of, goodwill accretion? Because I can see that in FY21, the dated number where the net worth was just about 1,000 crores. So what type of goodwill accretion will we see?
No, the net worth is about 1,000 crores. That is a fact. But chemical companies are today being traded at multiples which are, the industry average is well above 20. So, I mean, you talk of goodwill, you talk of however, but it's a question of opportunity and the opportunity for growth. And whether this multiple of 9 or 8.5 times 25 earnings can actually can get over a period of time a multiple of 15, 16, 18, 20. That is a critical question.
Understood. So is there any number you can quantify the goodwill that will get accreted?
I mean, we paid 3,800 crores. The current net worth is 1,000 crores.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. So the last question was on, could you quantify the top 5, top 10 customer concentration? Because you mentioned, the big,
So those are the ones: Procter & Gamble, Unilever, Henkel, Reckitt, and
the revenue contribution to that?
suppliers. Sorry?
The revenue contribution to, of these customers to your overall top line?
Well, these are the bulk customers, so I don't have this number specifically yet, but very soon we'll be in a position to share these numbers with you.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Ria from Equities Investments. Please go ahead.
Thank you for giving the opportunity. My first question is, you said that the player is world number 2. So is this in all the 3 segments which you broadly classified, or is it just in phosphonates?
No, it is in phosphonates.
It's in phosphonates. And
Yes.
Do we have any such company which is a peer competition to it?
Yes, there is one company called Italmax.
Sorry, could you spell it?
I'm not sure of the spelling, but I would presume it's Italmax.
Okay. And my second question is in terms of the geographical contribution, since you said that the majority part is in US. So I would assume that more than 50% is US contribution and rest would be India and Saudi?
I don't have the geographical contribution with me, but Kaushik, would you have that now? I think the revenue-wise, 65% is US, 18% Europe, and 9% India.
Yeah, absolutely.
So nothing from Saudi as of now?
Correct.
Within the 7%, and it is basically a place for production. It's a hub for production.
Okay. Got it. And in terms of phosphonate, what would be the capacity and what would be the market size?
Kaushik, would you like to elaborate on this?
Yeah. Market size of phosphonate globally is 250 KT, and the capacity of Aquapharm is the total is about 130 KT, and out of that 80% is phosphonate at this point of time.
Okay. So around 100 kg would be our capacity out of the 250 kg.
Yeah, we are one of the top 2 players. As Chairman just mentioned, the other one is Italmax from Italy, and the spelling is Italmach, Italmax.
Sorry, could you go ahead? You're not audible.
It's Italmax, Italmach.
Okay. Got it.
MATCH, yeah.
And my next question would be in regard to... Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Since the management commentator said that the chemical business for this year was a little depressed, so in terms of realizations of the chemical per se, like phosphonate, how much drop on a YOY basis have you seen in the realization of this chemical?
Ma'am, this is something that, as I said, we are less than an hour, or just maybe an hour into the transaction.
Yeah.
So give us a little time, and we will be able to share much more detail.
Sure. And on future acquisition, which you said in regards to the EV, would it be on the similar magnitude as the current acquisition?
Don't. We can't share this. Please, we will share with you details, but all I can say is the prospects are very, very exciting.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Radha from B&K Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you for the opportunity and congratulations. So I wanted to understand from the 3 business verticals that you mentioned, what are the current utilizations of 3 business verticals, and at current capacities, what would be our maximum revenue potential?
Those are again details which give us a few weeks. Though we have some numbers which are done by McKinsey, we would really like to go through it ourselves and validate them and come back to you. And we've given you the broad EBITDA numbers based on the existing management's forecast. But we will now have to go in and we will have to evaluate and come back to you with what we believe we can do to the business.
All right, sir. So secondly, I believe the return ratios from this business would be north of 20%, the return ratios. So, given that we are in a down cycle, as you mentioned in the chemicals business, what could that number look like in an up cycle scenario?
Again, those are details which are detailed operational issues, and we are not yet involved with the operation. So we are not in a position to give you an intelligent response to this. But hopefully a few weeks from now, we should be in a position to tell you this.
Okay, sir. And just one last question. You mentioned the margin profile, EBITDA margin profile is 20% for us. Any comparison have you made with respect to the competitors, what kind of margins they are making?
So it's a global leader, and the difference in the market share is marginal actually. Italmax is slightly higher, I think 1 or 2% higher than us. So it's very, very marginal. And I think they're both very comparable companies. But we will have very detailed reports out to help you with analysis very soon. But an hour into the transaction, there is only so much that we can say. I mean, and that there is only so much that we know. I mean, we know what we know, but we will have to get into much more detail to give you very, very specific data.
All right. Since you mentioned about the market share, just wanted to ask, do you have any numbers handy in terms of market share?
I mean, I hope our market share will increase.
Okay. Thanks and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Shiv Chanani from Baroda BNP Paribas Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Hi. Good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, hi. Couple of questions. One, could you give us some more detail on the payment schedule, please? I'm just trying to understand. I think if I heard you correctly, you said that the overall payments will be made over next 18 to 20 months. So I'm just trying to understand how the cash flows will pan out.
No. I think you got me wrong maybe.
Okay.
What I said is that within the next 3 months, we hope to close the transaction, which is when we will make the payment.
Okay.
And over the next 30 months, the cash flows from the two combined businesses would be more than enough to pay this entire money.
Fair enough. So there are no milestone payments based on certain, numbers being achieved?
No.
Okay. Understood. And secondly, on the competition side, are there any Indian companies as well competing?
No. Again, specialty chemicals are specialty chemicals. There are very few companies which operate in this space.
Right.
Globally. And that is the advantage of having specialty chemicals and having companies like this. That's why you can get 31% margin.
Fair enough.
That's why in water-soluble polymers you get 35% margin.
Right. Understood. Yeah. And lastly, when I look at, the Italmax presentation for the 9 months, if I understand correctly, the PPA segment is the one which probably competes with your segment. And here I can see almost a 25% decline in volumes and a 28% decline in revenues for the 9 months. So how should we read into this?
But that is why the Aquapharm performance for the last 6 months has been low, which is the industry trend. But as I said, it seems it is reversing. But again, we are not yet as knowledgeable on the industry as some of the research analysts would be. Give us some time, and we can come back to you with far more reliable forecasts. I mean, these forecasts are reliable, and as I said, they've been validated by McKinsey and other consultants. But, for us to get into this kind of detail, 1 hour, 15 minutes into the transaction, just request for a little more time, please.
Fair enough. Can you just share that the first half, has the decline been similar, 20-25% compared to Italmac, or has it been different for?
Well, I don't think there has been a decline, and we shared the absolute numbers with you. The decline has been in the range of about 20-25%, yes.
Okay. Fair enough. That helps. Thanks a lot, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question of our question and answer session. On behalf of PCBL Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.